Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. It's live. Tight. Hello, people that have joined in after the fact. You're getting this right away. But as you always know, it takes me a little bit to post all this stuff because c'est la vie. May live stream. Oh, who's messaging you, boy? Boop. Go, 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 go. Tags. Live streams. Bing. No, don't schedule it. Publish it now. Select tier. Only the people that have earned it. Bop, bop, boop, bop. Publish now. What else we got going on? Ooh, who messaged me? Ooh, work. Okay, well, I'll address that later. Hello. Okay. Now, I'm going to tweet this link. Or not the link. I'm just going to let it know that it's going on. I have an Apple. Twitter, Potterless. The May live stream is live for $7 plus patrons. Get on check Patreon for the link. Tweet. All right. And boom, 3 people are in the mix. Hello, 3 people. Annette, what's going on? Hello. Someone just messaged as I changed tab. Polly. Oh, hello. Ooh, okay. Only audio link. That's fine. You can't hear because they're being very quiet, but I'm sitting next to J.K. Rowling. Was already Miss May stream already this month. No, Taylor. So I did one in May for April because April's super busy and I didn't do it. But now I'm here. All right. Let me do one other thing. What was it again? Oh, right. Pull up the emails because people send in questions and stuff. Oh my. So many questions. Live stream. Cool. All right. So that's good. That's gone. And then the questions. Got them up. Wonderful. I'll give it a little bit more time. Oh man, so many people. Salbard, Queen, Andrea, Victoria, Vicky, Nikita. Hello. Oh, and Annette, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's nice. I'm very happy to be engaged to Kelly. It's super cool and fun and strange. I feel like a grown boy, even though I'm a tiny baby boy. As always, I will give it a couple minutes until we get into the questions, giving people time to jump on in. And as always, you can send them in here. Send them in the email. So, yeah. Fun stuff going on. I have that counted. Oh, yeah. Kelly's huge into the Katana comics stuff. And she, sends me them on Instagram, direct messages at 2 a.m. when she's on her phone in bed instead of sleeping. So there was a calendar for it, and she made it. Or she got it for me. She didn't make it. But now I have it. And it's good. And I have a little calendar. Just nice to have. I did not have one before. Oh, Maggie. Hello. Thank you so much for getting your friend involved. That's awesome. Hello, Alexandra. How's it going, everybody? All right. We're getting close to the 5-minute mark meeting, the question mark. But I'm glad people are coming in. We're already at 14 people. That's super fun. We're very happy. It's been a very productive day for you, boy. Did a bunch of work. Edited a bunch of Powerless. Then Monday's episode is the live show from Portland, so I'm super stoked about that. It's gonna be really fun. It's a very fun one. And editing the live shows is always interesting because you have to account for crowd noise and the echo that comes with being in a live venue. So it's been an interesting challenge for me, but a fun one. Happy Tuesday, Ivor. Cool, yeah. A friend got excited when you hear that. That's wonderful. That's great. Oh yeah, Maggie, I'm excited for whenever your friend gets it. It's gonna be very fun. Hello, Danielle. Sweet. All right, 30 seconds, and then we're ready to go. And we can answer questions. Oh man, okay. Monique asked me when I have to watch a video, and I forgot again, so I'll have to do that in the June one. So Monique, I'm sorry that I'm the worst, but I will watch it. It's like an interview with Daniel Radcliffe and J.K. Rowling, and then she wants to see what I have to say about it. So I will do that in the next one. But let's get into the questions. So, first question. comes from Matt Orienter, aka Moster. He says, hey, I never get the live stream notifications on Patreon, which means I usually miss the window for questions. So this is here for when the time comes. I hope you remember. Is there a Potterless meetup on the table before or after the NYC show? So yes, I'm trying to figure out what makes the most sense. But for anyone who isn't already aware, I literally just tweeted about this before starting this. We're doing a show in Brooklyn on June 21st at 7:30. Or 8, I think doors at 7:30 and the show starts at 8 at the Bell House, which is a really cool venue. And some very important podcasts have played there, which is cool. Like Stuff You Should Know performs there regularly, which is sweet. It's a very cool venue. There is, we'll do some sort of meetup. I don't know if we're going to do it on the day of, but maybe I would think the most likely situation is that we would do it like the day, either way earlier in the day, like afternoon, or we would do it like on Sunday. Because there is a show right after us, and I would imagine before we're going to be like preparing. So we'll figure out a multitude. There will be some sort of meetup, and we'll talk about it on social media. So everyone just check it out there. We're going to do a meetup for sure, though, especially if people are coming into town. We want to make sure people really get the full experience and get to like see us and stuff. So we'll figure that out. There is an event right after in the Bell House. It's like an 80s dance party thing, which is very tempting to attend because I do love dancing and the 80s. I got to figure out what the plan is there. So just stay tuned. We'll post about it. There's definitely going to be something. I was also going to ask you something like, what are you doing with all that money? Well, this is continuing Moster's question with the stated lack of expectation that you'd answer, but you answered that well enough in the last commentary. Yeah. So for anyone that is wondering, like what I'm doing with all the money that you lovely patrons have supported, I mean, it's basically gotten me to the point where I was able to leave a full-time job into a, just like an independent contractor role, which is what I'm doing now. So I'm still working in podcast advertising, but not like in a full-time situation now. It's me just working part-time, which allows me to put more time into Potterless. And if the financial stuff of Potterless was not high enough, I would not be able to do that. Also, I'm going to turn on the fan. So Patreon allowed me to achieve my dreams, which is wild. Like this was the goal. But also, now that I have like a fiance, I got to plan for like a wedding and all that other stuff. So, I mean, really the funds are just allowing me to act and treat Potterless with the time that it needs to, and like make it act like it is my job. Now I tell Kelly when I have to edit, I tell her like I have to do my job. So I mean, I was putting tons and tons of hours, and I have put tons and tons of hours into Potterless. So it makes sense that now like that is what, that's where the main source of income is coming from, thanks to, sponsorships, live show opportunities, the Patreon stuff. It just all kind of helps. And it's just, allowing me to put more time and resources into Potterless, and really just does help me when opportunities arrive. It allows me to not have to worry about them. So like this weekend we're going to Nashville, and they're not paying for our flights, which is fine. Or they're paying for like parts of the stuff, but not like flights and hotels, which is fine. I'm able to use Patreon funds for stuff like that. So those are the things where like Patreon has allowed money to not be a limiting factor in an opportunity for Potterless. It also allows me to do things like buy the t-shirts, because those cost a lot of money, and buy all the postage to mail it out for all the rewards and stuff like that, get new equipment. So, it just really helps with running Potterless smoothly and allowing me to do things in the future, like when I do the trip to London and all kind of stuff like that. So it's really helpful and nice, and it just gives me a good support system so that I can justify the time and effort that I put into Potterless. Let's see. So many messages. Editing Mike has been so good. Yeah, he's been a sassy boy of late, but that's just how editing Mike rolls. Finished the last episode. I perked up a lesbian YA novel. Yeah, so check it out. Kristen DiMercurio from the last episode talked about audiobook narrating that story, and it went live like today, so you can buy it. Check her Twitter. It's at KDimerc, KDIMERC. Check it out. I've tweeted her today, so it's on the Potterless stuff too. But yeah, that book went live, and she found out from a Potterless listener finding it out, which is very funny that the or the publishing company didn't even tell her. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm glad it worked out, Vicky. Sweet. I think Mike is my new all-time favorite. Are you going to be taking a break between books and movies and all the other stuff you're doing? I don't plan on it. I plan on just going, but I do want to make some sort of episode I feel like I want to make something that kind of just talks about like the books as a whole. So I might just do one where I just kind of talk about just like the book. I'm trying to figure out what makes the most sense for that. Maybe I'll do an episode where I have like multiple guests and they prepare questions to talk to me about. I think it would be nice to have some sort of episode with like a sense of closure. But I don't want to take, I'm not going to take like a break. Like the show's not going to stop. Things will still be coming out. Maybe formatting wise, I'll do something. And maybe the epilogue will allow me to kind of have that buffer too, because I can't imagine the epilogue being incredibly long. But yeah, I know a lot of people have wanted me to talk about just like how I feel about everything. So maybe I can, have some guests who are particularly adept at interviewing, whether that's like a Kelly or an Amanda or someone that is very astute, and have that be, a fun way to buffer the transition between books and movies. So that could be super fun. Careful with the Dan and J.K. Rowling interview, though. It's got spoilers that we haven't finished yet. Yeah, thankfully, Monique put like the time window in it, like watch from this minute to this minute. It doesn't have spoilers. Also, I'm only 2 chapters away, so I'm very close. But yes, I appreciate the concern, Taylor. Hello, Lotta. How's it going? Living your dream. Oh yeah, I'll download it. Will you reread the series at a normal speed after you finish them all? I imagine reading 1 chapter at a time is tricky. Yeah, I will. I'll probably do that. I would like to do. I'm not going to do like individual episodes about like, here's me reading it a second time. But I would like to do something where it's just like maybe 1 episode per like reread of the books. And that'll be later down the road. I would much rather cover new stuff before I get into like reread territory. Maybe after I've done like a bunch of non-book things for a while, that's something I could revisit. But it would be very fun to do some sort of episode where I'm like, hey, I reread the second book and look at all the things she talked about that later become important. So I think I would like to reread them at some point for sure. I just have so many other books that I want to read. Like here is my bookshelf of books I need to read that I haven't been able to read since I moved, mostly basketball related. But I definitely want to, I want to read for leisure again soon because I miss it for sure. You should do a practice trivia episode with guests since you've been saying so hard. Yeah, I really want to, someone suggested that I flip the script and I do an episode where I ask people trivia questions based on like the really minute details that I've picked up on in Pyro. So I think that would be really funny. But yeah, something with trivia. I really want to. That could be a fun bonus episode because I do want to go to trivia nights and stuff. It'd be fun if like someone. Yeah, that could be a really good bonus episode. I'll have to look into that. But something with trivia would be very funny. Nikita asks, what are your thoughts on where you are at in the book? Last minute predictions or anything? Trivia live stream could be cool too. Where am I in the book? So I just finished the part where like Harry died. And I just recorded that episode with Lauren Shippen. So I can now, by rule of Potterless, move on to chapter 35. I really don't have a prediction. I get like my guess would be that like, I mean, like Harry's not going to die, and Voldemort has to die. I feel like Voldemort might be in like some really weak state because you got to think like even if what he did to Harry gets rid of the soul Horcrux thing that's in Harry, like Nagini is still alive. So I think Nagini still will have to be killed. So maybe it's another thing where he's like super weak or whatever. Or in a weird like ghost lake whatever state, but maybe he'll possess Nagini. That would be wild. But I do think that if there is going to be some sort of fight, like a big showdown, it's going to be like Harry and whatever friends are around versus the Death Eaters and Nagini, because they're going to have to kill them all. So that would be the only guess that I really have. Else dies, I feel like pretty content in that I don't want anyone else to die, so I think we're good. A lot of important people died. Can we just like not have any more? But yeah, that would be my guess, is that Voldemort's gonna be in some sort of weakened state. Maybe he possesses Nagini, and then they have to like fight. Like, because I assume Harry's gonna like wake up from this. It wouldn't be as much fun if it's like book 1 coma thing where he wakes up and it's like, what happened? And then they just describe everything rather than like you get to actually see it. So we'll see. I don't know. It's hard just to guess because like, I don't know, Harry Potter died. Like, how am I supposed to know what's happening next? Let's see. We could have a multitude meet up with Harry Potter trivia night. Could be very fun. That would be very good. Was Harry having to die surprise you? Yeah, I did not see that coming at all. No, like I didn't even see him being a Horcrux like coming. So I had no idea like him having to die would be part of the plan. Especially just because, and Lauren and I talked about this in the episode. Like the fact that Dumbledore never alludes to it or mentions it to Harry is bonkers. Like absolutely wild that he never says to Harry like, "There's one really tricky Horcrux and you have to do it last," but I haven't said anything. Completely blindsided me. Yeah. Okay. So that is all of Moster's questions. Let's move on to Ella Rose. Ella says, what has been your favorite moment of the book so far? And what has been the most shocking moment? I feel like most shocking is easily Harry actually being a Horcrux. My favorite moment, I go back and forth, and I've talked about this before, but I really did enjoy the battle, the duel between Dumbledore and Voldemort at the end of the 5th book. I just thought it was really well done. I thought it was really picturesque. I felt like I was there. It was really like in the action, and it was just really cool. That's also where Canti Potter happens. So like, come on, how could it not be? So very much enjoyed that. I think that would be my favorite moment. It's just too good. The best, the 2 best wizards, duking it out. Let's see. Nina asks, gonna miss tonight's live stream because time differences suck. We do, but I'm trying to like alternate doing ones late in the day and early in the day. Like the last one was like in the middle of the afternoon, which worked out for Europe. But Nina asks, which moment from the whole series has shocked you the most? Not necessarily death. Okay, so since I just answered that, I'll pick another shocking moment. I think the serious, like she said, not necessarily death, but the serious death was really shocking, just in that it stuck. It happened so quick and out of nowhere that I was very surprised by it. Obviously, you can't see that coming. Like, how are we supposed to know what the veil means? But the other thing is, like, I just knew there was so much hype around Sirius that I figured he stuck around longer than like 2 books. Like 2.5 books. He was, not even a good guy until you learn he is at the end of 3. And then he's kind of there in 4, but not really because he's on the run. Same kind of thing in 5, and then he's gone. And just so many people liked him. And I wondered why it would surprise me just because with the hype around him being so large, I figured he had to be like this main monumental figure within the books. And I guess he's very important, sure, but he's not like around that much. So I was very surprised that he was actually dead and not just like gone and then he was going to come back and blah, blah, blah. So I think that was very surprising. Let's see. Alexandra asks, how do you feel about Snape's story arc? I mean, it's fine, but like at the end of the day, the dude is just a guy that had a crush on a girl and then felt entitled. Like he's the guy that thinks the friend zone is real. Like he's the kind of dude that's like, oh, I have a crush on you and I'm nice to you. Thus, you have to like me back. And if you don't reciprocate these feelings, I get so grumpy, especially because you're dating my bully. Ugh. But I don't know. He still did some crappy stuff. And like, I'm not faulting him for thinking that way as a teenager because I've thought that way. Like a lot of people have thought that way. But to not grow out of it, I think is a bit much. You could even point it out when like, when Snape like went back to Dumbledore and was like, I would do anything for her, and even offered to like kill Harry and James, and Dumbledore was just like, you don't care about them, you only care about her, kind of thing. Even that level of immaturity given his age, fine. But the fact that he would never grow out of that as like a dude in like his 30s or 40s now, like he's in his late 30s, you should be past that, dude. Like you should be beyond this. So I don't know. I get that, like, the arc is, I think it's interesting in the fact that, like, we learned that there's this backstory between Lily and Snape and that there's a friendship. I found that to be, like, very interesting and compelling. And it was more so than just, like, oh, I had a crush on this girl in school. It was, like, a more thorough backstory, even though it is kind of founded on him being a creep to her. I did find that interesting, but it still just kind of sucks that he's a grown-ass man acting like a teenager. Like, at least Sirius had an excuse for acting like a teenager. He was in Azkaban for his formative years. Snape was just, like, has been grumpy for a decade and a half. Like, come on, dude. So, not my favorite. Do I think always redeemed him? Fuck no. No. Like, I think part of, if you were I get you can say he protected Harry out of love, but he was like still shitty to Harry, and he was still shitty to Neville, and he was still shitty to Hermione and Ron and all these other kids. It's like, if you're going to really try to show your love for Lily by being nice to Harry and protecting him, like, don't be such a jerk about it. Like, grow out of it. I don't know. I think that part of maturity with that kind of thing is like, it's natural to have that anger and be upset that someone doesn't have reciprocated feelings for you. Especially if it's, they fall for the person that you just despise. But I don't know. I think at a certain point, in order to be redeemed, he would have had to have gotten to a point where he like moved past it and wasn't still harboring this like ill will and grudge about it. And he never let it go. So I don't think he's fully redeemed. Like, it makes you understand where he came from and why he did what he did, but I don't think it redeems him. I think that's too strong of a word to use. Taylor says, I don't know, you managed to wait to read to the next chapter. I mean, it is hard, but it's just, I know the podcast is better when I don't know what's happening next, and I'm dedicated towards making this podcast as good as it can be, so I have to take the steps necessary. The other thing that makes it easy is like when I'm reading these, I'm like actively taking notes, and it's work. Like, it takes me a while to read a chapter, so it's not like I can just breeze through it. Like, when I finish a chapter, I'm like, oh man, okay, whew, like it's work. People saying thank you. Snape totally isn't Cellini's. Yeah, it's not great. Yeah, the Hermione, Maggie, I agree. Like, the Hermione T thing, that is like what seals the deal. Like, you are being mean to a child. You're supposed to be a teacher. First off, you're just being mean to a student. That's awful. But you are being mean to her just because she's Harry's friend. Like, you're being mean to a kid because she's the friend of your bully's kid. Like, dude, cut it loose. You're a grown man. Ugh. Thoughts on the snitch? Did you expect Harry to be right? I honestly just completely forgot about the snitch being a thing. Lauren and I covered this in the episode, but like on purpose, and like JK does this very intentionally. There's so many other things happening that it just completely slipped my mind. And she does a very good job of putting you in the mind of like what Harry's feeling. And Harry went through the same thing where he was like, oh right, the snitch. And I forgot about it too, just because there's like so many other things going on that there's more important things than trying to like tie together all these items that haven't worked out. So once he said it, I was like, oh, of course, duh. Like, I opened the close. This has to be the close. So I wasn't surprised once he realized it. I just blanked that it existed. Snape is still a great jerk. There were other characters that deserve redemption that didn't get it. Yeah, for sure. Will you do any video versions of episodes? I would be tempted to. I would like to. I just don't think we have we don't have the setup for it right now. Also, especially given that I lost my camera in Italy. That's not ideal. I could see us doing video stuff later down the road for Multitude. I would very much like to do that, start making video content. I don't know if we'll do video episodes. The problem currently is that our studio, which is very nice, for audio recording, is not very well set up for video recording, because the studio is like one big room, and then what used to be like a walk-in closet converted into what we're using for audio recording. So it's very long but very narrow. So if you were getting a video in there, it'd be very hard. You'd have to do like a 2-camera setup that went back and forth. And I don't know, it's not conducive, but the rest of the studio could be. So maybe when we get all the things set up, we could do some fun video stuff there. But I don't know that we're going to do any video versions of episodes. I know we've talked about doing like some sort of, I don't know if it either video or just like streaming stuff of like, I know Polygon and some other groups do things where they'll do like a Jackbox stream on Twitch where you can, join in live and watch that. And we're thinking about doing things like that. We've discussed that before, but not exactly sure how it works. So we definitely are interested in doing content outside of just podcasts. I think for the time being, though, we got to like make sure and establish some other stuff before we make that jump. And video just like, it just takes a lot of time. Like podcasting takes a lot of time too. It takes me a long time to edit these episodes, but it's just simpler to record and get all that going. And then it's just like an easier process of just from start to finish. I think it's like a little more streamlined. Whereas video, I mean, we all have background in doing video stuff, so I think we'll do it at some point. I think we just got to get a little bit better of a studio setup, and then we can make it happen. Boop-a-doop-bop-bee. So Lee, because my baby wouldn't go to sleep. Oh no, I'm sorry, Haley, but at least your baby looks super cool in that picture you tweeted. like swag ass baby. Jack Black's on Twitch idea would be great. Yeah, I think it'd be super fun. We just gotta like figure out how we're gonna do it, how it's going to work, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, I got another email from Danielle. Hey, Mike, I have to tell you how much I love the podcast. You've allowed me to enjoy the books all over again, and I'm so grateful to you. Oh, man, well, I'm so grateful for you joining and being a supporter. I have a fun one for you. You mentioned watching The Great British Bake Off. Do you have a favorite season, contestant, or dessert from the show? I freaking love that joke. Keep up the good work and wizard on. Okay, I am very sorry and sad to admit that I've never watched like more than 2 episodes of The Great British Bake Off. I just like know of its existence really. And I knew that they made treacle tarts on it because my sister Megan watches it religiously. And she told me in the first episode, when I thought treacle tart was a magic thing, she was like, they make it on Great British Bake Off all the time. What's wrong with you? I've watched a couple episodes, so I can't pick like a favorite season or episode or whatever. I am very impressed by everything that they make. So I cook a lot, but I don't even try baking just because with cooking, I feel like cooking is to improv comedy what baking is to sketch comedy, where improv comedy, you figure it out on the fly. Cooking, same thing. Like, oh, this is too salty. Let me put something else in. Oh, this needs more salt. This needs some sugar. Let me add some heat, reduce the heat, add another ingredient, whatever. Whereas baking is like, you have to have very strict preparation. And like, if you put more than 2 ounces of this thing, the entire thing is ruined. And if you leave it in the oven for an extra like minute or 2, it'll be awful. I just can't deal with that. And also I don't have a huge sweet tooth. I do for certain things. Like I could destroy a mountain of ice cream, and I could drink gallons of milkshake. But in terms of like cake and candy and all that, that's never been my jam. I really just kind of like those cold, like scoopable desserts, is how I roll. But I've never had like a huge sweet tooth, so I just don't have a desire to bake. Also, the thing is like, if there is food in my house, I'm going to eat it. So if I baked a bunch of cookies, I would eat all the cookies. So that's why I just have to like stock my house with various fruits and vegetables so that if I do get hungry, I eat healthy things and not a bunch of cookies and stuff, because I put them down. Oh, Vicky, interesting. The flip. Yeah, I feel like people usually one or the other. I don't know if too many people who are like, oh, I love cooking and baking. People usually float one way versus the other. Oh, Alexander, I'm glad the podcast brings you joy. You gotta watch it. Yeah, I mean, I could watch more of it. It's just I also don't watch a whole lot of TV, and there's still so many other shows I'm catching up on, like critically acclaimed shows. I'm still making my way through The Wire. I mean, none of you should be surprised that I like have not fully caught up on things that are really good. Look at this podcast. So yeah, Great British Bake Off is like something to consider, and it's something that if anyone else put on, I would not tell them to change the channel. I'm very impressed by all the stuff they do. I don't know how they do it. It's wild, absolutely wild. Everyone's really nice. That's very good. Okay, Great British Bake Off thread on the Facebook group. That'll be very fun. Sweet. Let me see. I think those are all the questions that I've emailed because I searched Livestream. Oh no, haha, boom. I've got some more. Polly asks, hi, Mike. Firstly, I just wanted to formally congratulate you and Kelly on your engagement. Oh, thank you so much. You guys are such an amazing couple. And it's amazing to see you take the next step. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to cry. Okay, now a few questions for whenever you go to the live stream. I may not be watching because the last one was at 3 a.m. in Australia, but it'll definitely watch later. I hope you are enjoying in whatever time it is in Australia, Polly. So 1, after you finish the books, will the podcast go back to being fortnightly? No, it'll still be weekly. It'll be weekly from here on out. Don't worry. 2, also, after you finish the books, have you thought about having a big roundtable discussion with some of the regular guests? Yeah, so that's what I talked about earlier in this recording. I think it would be very fun to have like some sort of recap thing with a couple different people, probably some multitude folks and Kelly. That'd be very fun. 3, just a silly one. Have you heard the Space Jam Punch Up the Jam that Demi did on Punch Up the Jam? I know you're a busy boy and probably don't have a lot of time to listen to other podcasts, but I think you really love that one. No, I don't listen to a lot of other podcasts, but there are some that I listen to religiously, and Punch Up the Jam is one of them. If you guys don't listen to Punch Up the Jam, you should. You should especially listen to episode 49. I think that's the one that I'm on. It's very good. But no, that podcast is incredible. Obviously, Miel killed it in her 2 episodes of Podros. But yes, the Space Jam punch-up they did was very, very good. And I love a good Space Jam. As you can see on my upper bookcase, I have the Space Jam soundtrack on vinyl. It was a gift from Eric Silver. I don't have a record player, so it's just on display. But very good album. So Yeah, those are the questions for Polly. And anyway, as always, keep up the good work. Cheers, Polly. Thanks, Polly. Let me look if people have commented stuff. Boopity bop boop. Such a good episode, Punch of the Jam. Yes, it was. Okay, now I have a question from from Gail. Gail says, if basketball became a popular sport in the Wizarding world, what team names would you want to see? Hard mode, no team names that exist in the Muggle world. Wizard on, Gail, and this is interesting. So if basketball became a popular sport in the Wizarding world, so let's see. The current NBA, there's a team called the Magic and a team called the Wizards. Those are going to be out. But if we're gonna go by the way that like Muggle teams work, is you usually pick some sort of animal that exists in your world, like an intimidating animal, and then you make it a team name. So that's why you have teams like the Memphis Grizzlies, the Toronto Raptors, the Atlanta Hawks, lots of scary animals. So like the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I guess we would I feel like it'd be very common for there to be magical creature names. I feel like blast-ended Scroots would be too many syllables. I think that the what's the real name for bony Thestrals? It's like, what's the real thing for bony ponies? I think the Thestrals would probably be the best name because then it'd be like very intimidating. It could make a really cool logo. You could have like a cool like black and purple color scheme. I think that'd be very fun. Thestrals being only 2 syllables is very good too. Rolls off the tongue nicely. Hippogriffs doesn't seem super intimidating, and again, too many syllables. But yeah, I feel like Thestral would be the best one. It'd be really solid. I'm trying to think of some other wizarding creatures, but it's just not sticking out. I think Grindylows could be really cool too. That could be really fun. Yeah, I feel like it just pick whatever magical creature. I mean, the dragons obviously would be a fun one, especially if you went like a specific type of dragon, like the horntails or something like that could be really cool. So I think that'd be my vote. Pick some sort of intimidating magical creature. You can't go wrong with that being your basketball team name. Yeah, cool. Well, fun. And we've hit 30 minutes and all the questions. What a perfect timing. Let me look up what people have said. A team would be named after a Niffler. That'd be very good. The Nifflers would be very fun. The Swoopers, they're just called Pony Ponies now. I mean, yes. The Downtown Dragons, very, very solid. Ooh, or the Diagon Alley Dragons, like the Diagon Dragons. That'd be cool. Or the Diagon Alleys. I think Pony Pony would be a great team name. All right, yeah, Bony Ponies. Cool, tight. All right, sweet. We're making a team called the Bony Ponies. And that's the official NBA team of the Wizarding World. And that's what better way to end this live stream. Well, thank you all so much for taking the time to see me talk about some stuff, whether you joined in live or after the fact. I really appreciate it. And for all the support, I really do appreciate it. Like, I'm not exaggerating when I say that you've all made my dreams come true, which is bonkers and wild. And you are allowing me individually and Multitude as a whole to do some really cool things. Which is exciting as we start to take next steps. There's a lot of stuff that we've been planning and stuff that we can't talk about yet, but that will be released soon. And it's just like really exciting for that to happen. Obviously, expanding our live show repertoire has been really fun, and doing more and more of that is really cool. And obviously, people turning up for those is huge too. So I'm excited to see people. If anyone's coming to PodX this weekend, say hey. If anyone's going to be in the Nashville area and wants to come down, we're going to do a meetup. I'll talk with Multitude about what makes the most sense there, and we'll figure it out and post on social media. But thank you all so much. I really appreciate all of you. The support is super fun, and my life is really good right now, and Potterless and Patreon is a huge reason for it. So thank you all so much, and until next time, as they say in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter before they tip off at the Bony Ponies game, a wizard on! Oh, and...